So, the one thing that's been bugging me that comes up, I don't want to say relatively regularly, but it does come up from time to time. You see these cases where, look, not every case is going to go perfectly from the start. The reality is our level of preparation and the way we sit down with our clients early on and create a plan right out of the gate usually leads to pretty quick and pretty efficient results. But obviously you're going to have those cases from time to time where the judge is just not listening to you or things are just not going your way, and you're going to reach a crossroads in the case. You're going to get to a point where things are going to get a little bit difficult. So what do most lawyers do at that point? They throw their hands up and they give up. That's the reality. But the lawyers that are prepared to handle the case from start to finish, bar nothing, you reach that crossroads and you know ways to keep your clients on board. And the clients that stay on board, obviously, as I've spoken about before, the results come. Sometimes it takes some time, but they're inevitable if you're pushing the right buttons and taking the right steps. Then there are those cases where I have a client not listen to me, do exactly the opposite, and I see the results when they come back into my office months later. Either they decide to go with another lawyer, they decide to give up their case, or withdraw, or whatever the case may be. And in those cases, the results are devastating. Their whole life is changed. And they get to a point then when they haven't followed my advice and they haven't listened to me and stuck with our advice and followed through with everything, they get to a point with their case where if they go in another direction, it's stuff I can't fix now. Or if I can fix it, it's really costly and really time consuming. So the underlying message is, obviously, as I've said before, you need the right lawyer. But when you get to those turning points in your case, follow your lawyer's advice. I know it's difficult. I know it can be stressful. Sometimes it can be more time-consuming than you'd like it to be, or more expensive than you'd like it to be. But you've got to stick with what your lawyer tells you to do. Because if you don't, these cases that come back to me later on, years later, months later, there's nothing I can do about them at that point.